Hello, everyone. I'm Paul.
This is Muffy.
We're with the Scruffy Dillweed Show. We have a topic tonight we want to discuss, and tonight it's not a joking matter. We're being dead serious about this situation that's going on in our capital, what they're calling the insurrection. Uh, I don't know that I really would call it an insurrection myself, but that's what the news media seems to be covering on it. Muffy, you got any thoughts on it? You want a voice, or you want me just to jump right in?
Well, it looked to me like a terrorist attack, but you go right ahead and jump on in.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been glued to the TV. Muffy has too. We've been watching almost every channel we can find that's been covering this, and I'll be honest with you. I think the trying to push to invoke the 25th Amendment and the uh, going to impeach in the morning, start impeachment in the morning in the House. I don't think this is. I really don't think either one of them is the way we really need to go. Honestly, my personal thought. I think we ought to just wait. We got what 5 business days till the inauguration. 6 business days till the inauguration. I think we might as well just wait till the inauguration, and then I think they need to just flat file charges on Donald J. Trump, Don Jr., Rudy Giuliani, Mo Brooks. I think they need to just file charges on them for treason, enticing a riot, and to be perfectly honest with you, I think they ought to charge them with second-degree manslaughter, if not second-degree murder. I think it's at least manslaughter, because to be honest with you, and I've really weighed this out quite a bit in my mind. If that was me that done that, if that was me that stood up on a stage just down the street from the Capitol building, and told people to go down there and entice and cause violence, hit people, kill people, I'd already be in Guantanamo Bay. I mean, there's not a damn bit of difference what President Trump done. There is not a damn bit of difference in that or what happened on 9/11 or what happened in 1941 when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. There ain't a damn bit of difference. There's not a damn bit of difference. Well, there is a damn bit of difference. At least in 1941, the Japanese only attacked a military base. I mean, my God, what he did was worse than that. It blows my mind how it cannot be considered domestic terrorism, how it's not at least at a minimum second-degree manslaughter. There's just no way in hell. If I would have done that, I guarantee you I would have been charged with probably second-degree murder. More than likely.
I have a question.
I'll try to answer it.
Okay, the comedian, Kathy Griffith, is that it?
Yeah, Kathy Griffin. Yes.
Now,
Yes.
she was detained for months
Yes.
because
She was
made
on
that
she was on the no-fly list. She couldn't perform in the United States because of it. Because she had a photograph.
She made a cartoon like of
Yes.
herself holding Donald Trump's severed head.
Yes.
Not that I agree with.
It was.
She's a comedian.
Well, it kind of.
Distasteful.
It was bad taste. It was bad taste.
But it was comedy.
But what he did.
No, wait a minute.
Okay.
What's the difference between doing that to the president? Because he took that as a death threat.
Yes.
What's the difference between doing that to the president and them all going in there saying, let's hang Pence?
And he promoted that.
But I'm not even talking about Trump here. All of them people there. Noose hanging.
I do not have a doubt in my mind
Is
that when they catch some of them, there will be charges brought on them by the Secret Service for a death threat to the vice president. I mean, I assume a death threat to him is just as serious as a death threat to the president. Maybe not. I don't know. But in all sincerity, there again, Trump was downing him on the stage, on Twitter, and well, no, not anymore. But he was then. What is the difference? I mean, can Trump get away with saying, go down there and attack the what building did they attack? Capitol building? Boy, I'm telling you. I mean, if that wasn't promoting killing Pence, he didn't. I'll give Trump this. He didn't say go down there and hang Pence. Well, at least not anything I've seen yet.
His actual words to Pence was, you better do like I said or you'll be in trouble. But I never did hear any video clips
of him saying actually go hang Pence.
Yeah, of him telling the rally.
Well, but still, I'm still getting to the point here. The people that died.
Yeah, there was a total of 6 people that died.
The people that died. How is that not murder?
There was others that were hospitalized and.
Oh yeah, but now and I'm not putting Donald Trump in this boat actually, but I've got a question here. What's the difference with what Donald Trump done? Standing up there on that stage. Donald Jr. standing up on that stage. Rudy Giuliani standing up on that stage. Mo Brooks standing up on that stage. Firing that crowd up like they did. Whipping that crowd into a frenzy. And they go down the street, that crowd goes down the street, and they kill them people. What's the difference between that and Manson? You knew I was going there, didn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, Manson never killed a single person.
Manson never killed anybody.
But Manson served his entire life in prison for that. I mean, what's the difference? Explain the difference to me. Somebody, please, explain the difference to me. Is the President of the United States above the law? There's where it boils down. There's my question. Is he, I don't care what he says, is he above the law? In the eyes of the law, is he above the law? They say he's not. They say no one is. Lady Justice is blind. How many pictures have you seen? Lady Justice is blind. Everybody's equal in her eyes. Is Donald Trump equal in her eyes? I mean, he joked 4 years ago, 5 years ago, that he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and still get just as many votes. I think the piper has been paid. Is that true? Is that a true statement? Can he go kill somebody down on Fifth Avenue and get away with it?
Fifth Avenue, that's in New York, right?
Yeah. Probably
that
not.
would be a
Probably.
false statement
Now. Probably not now. Yes, you may very well have a point there. I think. Here's my theory. Here's my theory on this. I have a list here of 11 senators that need to be. Do you know what the 14th Amendment is? Let me read Let me read you my deciphering of. It's not word for word, but basically I copied down the 14th Amendment.
Alright, give me the dumbed down version of the
No person who has gone to war against, given aid and comfort to enemies of the nation shall be allowed to run for or hold any federal or state offices. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but my determination of this.
You would have played a damn good one on TV.
Maybe. I don't know. You ever seen a lawyer this damn ugly? But anyway, my version of this is anyone that gave aid or comfort or basically declared war against our nation, our rule of law, our ways, cannot hold office. I've got 11 names of senators right here that needs to be brought up on and removed from office. Go ahead, what's your question?
Did he not break that amendment when he took us out of NATO?
No. No, technically he did.
That was the trade agreement. NATO's the trade agreement.
That's a whole different deal. What I'm talking about here, what the 14th Amendment covers. You seen a clip of the Congressman Mo Brooks up on the stage? We're going to start today. We start kicking ass and taking names, and he's up there going on and got that crowd whipped into a lather. All right, that is what this is talking about.
Okay.
That is the same thing that Ted Cruz did the Sunday before in Georgia.
NATO's not.
That's got nothing to do with
NATO's
this.
not what I was talking about. There was a huge peace organization that we belong to, along with a bunch of other countries.
The United Nations.
And he pulled us out of that.
We're still members of the United Nations, but he did change a bunch of things, and I've not studied up on that. I'm hoping to God Biden straightens all that back out, but that's a whole different story. That's a different deal than what we're dealing with here.
I mean,
what we're dealing with here is our own citizens basically declaring war on our own country. That's basically what it really boils down to. Our citizens, turned on us. Just like the same basic thing that happened in the Civil War. It's basically the same difference.
In the Civil War, you could tell who was on whose side.
Yes. There is a difference. There's a big difference, but it's still basically the same thing. Our own citizens turned on our own citizens. And the Civil War was over.
It wasn't. it wasn't all about slavery.
No, it wasn't completely 100% about slavery.
No.
But this here doesn't even make as much sense as the Civil War did. I mean, what did they gain? What did they do? What did they gain? What did they think they was going to gain? I mean, in all sincerity, they're standing up there and they're saying we've got to take our country back, and they want Trump back in as president. And did they really think they was going to overturn an election that the Republican Party is even saying was a legitimate election, was a fair election? There was no voter fraud. There was no stolen things. There was no
fraud,
illegal ballots and all that crap. I mean, what did they, honest to God, think? The states had already certified the election results. What they was doing there Wednesday was basically a formality. It basically was as legitimate. It didn't change anything.
Yeah, that's like...
You still had a president-elect.
That's like me winning a game over you the day before, and the next day was just announcing to the public that I beat you at chess.
Yeah, exactly. It pretty much is about it. Yes, you're 100% right. It pretty much is about it.
Just because you held a gun and made someone else say, "Oh no, Paul won," doesn't mean that I didn't win.
Well, but I'm back to the point here. We got some big time players in this that needs to face the consequences of what happened. They're as much at fault as Donald J. Trump is. And I mean, and I'm talking like Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz, when he was down in Georgia, they showed clips. Every news channel, including Fox, has showed clips of him down in Georgia on Sunday and saying that the battle is as bad for this election as what it was at Bunker Hill, as what it was at Valley Forge, and we need to not stand for this. We need to fight this. If that's not enticing violence, riots, what is? If I went out in the street and put up a platform and I got up there and I preached that my neighbor was crooked and evil and doing wrong, and somebody needs to do something about him, and going on and on and on, and somebody pulls a gun out and shoots my neighbor, I'm going to be charged just the same as the guy shot the gun, or the gal, whoever, shot the gun. I'm going to be charged just the same. There's no difference. Unless the President of the United States is above the law. There is my question. Somebody please send a message, whatever. Is the President of the United States above the law? That's what I really want to know. Are these senators? I mean, look at this. The Josh Hawley, or however you say his name, from Missouri. After they crashed into the Capitol building, destroyed the Capitol building, when they all come back again to try to ratify the election, he's still up there protesting. He's a senator from Missouri. And he's the one that jumps up and down protesting about the damn ballots in Pennsylvania. Well, what the hell? I mean, yeah, I understand that there was controversy about Pennsylvania. They said the Pennsylvania Supreme Court did not have the right to change election laws. But under the COVID situation, something had to be done. I mean,
the 2020 election was not a conventional election.
no, it's not an election that's going to happen every year like that. It was a unique situation.
It may
for
be the normal from now on.
It may become the normal from now on. But it was still a unique situation under unique circumstances. They done the best they could do. Donald Trump still got 75 million votes. Now, he still lost by 7 million votes. But he got
72,
or 72, whatever it was. He still got more votes and lost the election than any winner has ever had in the history of the United States.
He had more votes than any sitting incumbent president ever received.
Yes.
But he still lost.
But he still lost. But it's still to the point. That's still. They can sidetrack all they want. They can talk about all they want. They can do whatever they want. It still comes back to the point he should be charged with treason. He should be charged with enticing a riot. He should be charged with the insurrection. What do you need?
Quit hitting the table. You're jerking the...
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. He still should be charged with all these things because I would, you would, anybody else in the United States would. And I don't think he's any damn better than I am. He's the President of the United States, but hell, at times I'm Santa Claus. There you go.
Now, my Grandpa Davis used to tell me a few fibs, but he always told me that there is no one person that is above the law.
And that is honest to
In
God.
the United States, there is no one person above the law.
You watch, I don't care what network. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent. I don't care if you don't like CNN, MSNBC, Fox, whatever. You watch all of them. And every single one of them will say, under the law, there is no one above the law. They'll even say the president is not above the law. Now, apparently, and this was brought up during the Richard Nixon time, a sitting president cannot be charged with a crime, supposedly. It's not been to the actual Supreme Court.
It's not been tried.
But that seems to be the consensus. But he will not be the sitting president at 12:01 on January 20th. He will no longer be.
Man, you can get charged with all kinds of stuff when you're not president.
I mean, in all sincerity, why do we need to go through an impeachment? Why do we need to try to invoke the 25th Amendment? Why do we need to do anything? Why not just let it ride till 12:01 on the 20th and then charge him just like you're going to charge anybody else?
I think the 25th is...
I think that's done went by the wayside.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
Yeah.
I think the impeachment is...
They're going to vote on the impeachment in the morning.
I think that's stupid because I think they just wanted to go on record as him being
charged again.
Being the only president ever charged twice.
And that may be it too,
for an impeachment.
But I'm still saying, I still say he needs to be charged the same as anybody else.
Just let him cool his heels. He can't get on Twitter. He can't get on Facebook. He can't get on social media anymore. Just let him.
I invite him. If he wants to come to our podcast, if he wants to talk on our podcast, I will welcome his phone call.
Just let him cool his heels until the 20th when he leaves the White House.
What do you think about Don Jr.? What's your thought on Don Jr.? What's your thought on Rudy Giuliani? What's your thought on Mo Brooks?
Well, them will have to leave the White House too, don't they?
No. What I'm saying is, do you think they should be charged?
After the 20th. If you charge him before the 20th, he'll pardon them.
He may pardon them anyway. Seems to be. He thinks he can pardon himself. I mean, that's the last I heard today. Was he was seriously looking at pardoning himself.
I didn't think you could pardon anybody until they were charged with something.
That is not true. That's I watched that. I've read up on that. You can pardon somebody. All right, let's back up. Let me try to explain this.
Okay, so you're saying if I killed somebody, you're president. I killed somebody. It's just a missing person, but I told you I killed him. You can pardon me for killing him, and then when they find the body, I'm already pardoned.
Yes. I can pardon. If I was the president, I could pardon you for the act of whatever you done, federally, not state, federally now. I can pardon you for the act of whatever you done before you're charged with the crime. Yes.
So I would have to have killed multiple people.
No.
State lines for it to be a federal crime.
No, murder's a federal crime, period, but there's also state charges in that. It's not just...
It only becomes federal if it's done across state lines.
No.
Or is a serial killer.
No. No, murder is a federal offense. But there's still state charges also. Yes. So in other words, Trump.
Washington.
All right, let's take it this way. If he pardons Don Jr. for the crimes of insurrection, anything related to any of the deaths.
Well, that is federal because they went from Washington, D.C. and marched over to Virginia where the Capitol building is.
But what I'm saying is, he can pardon Don Jr. for everything federally related that happened on the 6th. But Don Jr. can still be charged any state charges even though he's been pardoned.
Any state charges in Virginia. Washington, D.C. is not a state. Washington, D.C. is not a state.
No, it's not a state, but I think it still falls, parts of it fall under certain states, I do believe.
The Capitol building is in Virginia.
But Don Jr. wasn't in Virginia. He didn't go down to the Capitol building.
No, but that's where
what state is the White House actually sitting in?
The White House is in Washington, D.C., District of Columbia.
but I think it still sits in a state. I think the land is still in a state.
City of Washington, D.C.
Well, hell, the Capitol building's 1 block down the street.
The White House is in the city of Washington, D.C.
So is the Capitol building.
No, it's in Virginia.
I'm gonna have to check into this.
They were discussing.
There's.
They were discussing it on CNN.
But there's still.
Washington D.C. is not a state. That was what they put on the ballot. They wanted to vote Puerto Rico in as a state and Washington D.C. as its own state, and it was voted out.
But there's still charges can be state charges that can be filed on property in Washington D.C.
No, it would be federal in Washington.
Not
DC.
everything can be federal. If I break into somebody Joe Blow's house across the street from the damn White House, is that automatically a federal crime when it's a state crime in every other state?
Depends on if it is a historical building they live in.
I didn't say that. I said if I break into Joe Blow's house trailer.
90% of the property in Washington, D.C. is federal land.
But there's still that 10%.
And that's city owned. That would be city property.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I do not believe that. I do not believe that. No, there's still.
Look it up. Look it up.
I will look it up. There you go. There's your task for the next podcast. Tell me how wrong I am about Washington, D.C.
What do you call me?
What do I call you? What? Helen Keller?
Yeah.
That
Helen Keller
that don't
ain't
mean you're
looking
that,
shit up.
that don't mean you're not on the damn texting shit every day. You just texted shit a while ago.
It took me 15 minutes to read it. And it was 2 lines.
You've got 3 days. You got 3 days to look up Washington, D.C. I've got other crap to do.
Shut up. It's unlike the government. It's up to you to prove me wrong. Or I'm like the Social Security office. It's up to
Don't
you.
even go there.
It's up to you to prove me wrong.
Don't even go there. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother podcast. That's a podcast in itself. Yeah, that $3.2 million I made moving that cocaine in for Pablo Escobar that year. Oh my God. I promise to tell that story. I really do promise to tell that story.
He has to tell that story.
Yeah, I promise I will.
Social Security is never wrong.
They told me that. They're never wrong. Ever. Yeah, I made that $3.2 million that year.
Yeah.
That's what they said.
But asshole didn't share any of it with me.
It's for you.
Yeah, I know.
It's for you.
That ex-girlfriend of yours
right.
is probably buried with it.
That may be too. All right, everybody. We want to thank you. We'll get another one. We'll get another one fired up here in a day or two and get it on. Like I said, anybody that's got any information, please share with us. I really do want to know if the President of the United States is above the law. That's my question for the week. Is the President above the law?
We didn't mean any offense to anybody.
This is our thing, and
it's on the news.
Yeah, it's just something. I mean, I've really, that's the way I feel about it. Is I think he should be charged with charges. I think his son should be charged with charges. I think somebody needs to answer for the dead people. I mean,
Yeah.
I do believe that somebody needs to answer for the dead people. And like I said, you know, there's people that's done less, that served many years in the penitentiary. So
there's people that have done worse that have been given a death sentence.
yeah, I mean, in all sincerity, he was treason to the United States, just like Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, and they were put to death for their crime, and nobody died. Nobody died. Nobody was injured. Nobody was killed, and they were put to death.
Wasn't it found out later that they didn't do what?
No, he did. She did.
He did. She did.
Yeah, she didn't. Ethel was actually innocent. Julius was guilty, but Ethel was actually later declared that she was not guilty. Yeah. So, but anyway, all right. We want to thank y'all. Y'all have a good night. I'm Paul.
This is Muffy.
Saying good night, everybody.
Good night.